Alright, hello everybody, this is Isaac from Isaac Projects. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys my first Create Aeronautics build with the new mod that released a couple days ago and I'm extremely excited about. And, you're going to see this mod and you're going to want to build, massive airships, massive planes, really big projects. And to do that, all of them have one thing you need. An engine, and you don't want just any engine, do you? You want the best engine, the most efficient, and this is certainly not the most efficient, but this is definitely the strongest. So right here, the concept is that it's a bunch of symmetrical sails stacked together. So instead of having all your sails, willy-nilly just on the side of your ship, you're actually creating thrust using one single propeller that is just a whole room of sails all generating at once, right? They're all generating wind. And you could put this in any direction you want. You could build it in whatever orientation you want. But the concept remains the same. And how I did it is I used the super glue from the original Create mod. And this lets multiple non-colliding objects to be sticking together in one simulated build. In comparison to honey, the honey doesn't do the same property. While it's still good at keeping things together when you're assembling a physics object, you actually want super glue when you're doing something with propellers, right? And I found out that the visuals don't really matter. It only matters how many symmetric sails you can fit in there, and the size scales up. And so to make this, I'm going to walk you through the engine I made, which isn't the best, but it's going to be my demo engine. I'm in creative, by the way. And so, for example, I just have these creative things that run forever, just to make it a little easier for myself to build. But you can actually find a way with tutorials online to build your own engines that are self-sufficient, but mine is not. So we're gonna start right here where I'm using this generator to start the pumps, and the pumps are starting the fluid, and the fluid is starting these large diesel engines, right? So you'll have 36 of these in total. They reach 2 blocks outwards and grab whatever shaft is in front of them and create rotational force, right? And so, but they need to be fueled at all times, of course. And then up here we have 6 diesel module engines, and these all link together, and so there's in total 3 sources where rotation is being delivered to. So right here, shaft 1, shaft 2, and then up here for the 6 modular diesel engines, right here. And so I'm using the traditional Create technique of generating rotation by cycling through large cog to small cog back to large. And with that, you're able to take the speedometer and look at how it doubles over time as you repeat the process, right? And you'll see right here that it reaches almost 900 rate per minute, which is like 1,000 short of a literal jet engine for a airplane. And so this is really exciting, but how would you do this yourself? Well, there's multiple ways. You can use normal stuff in Create. You could use just, a windmill, you could use a water mill, or you could do a steam engine, but this is my most preferred way because it generates the most power. And so you'll see here that the rate per minute is substantially higher than it should be. That's because I modified my game rules, because it is incredibly limiting as it is. But this is extremely exciting because you can take this design and scale it up or down, change how compact it is, and it's pretty much a infinite sandbox. And so I'm going to demonstrate how strong the wind is here. I've measured it out before, and this wind goes out 20 blocks. And if I were to show you right here and me falling into it, I'll get sent out like 40 blocks, so extremely far. And it's just incredibly good at, sending things flying, creating thrust. I wouldn't recommend any fancy designs, just this works. And I'm going to explain how I did it, really, because I could not figure it out at the start. So there's some weird tendencies these symmetrical sails tend to have, especially with the standard propeller bearing that we have in here. It is that sometimes you reach a limit where there's too much stress units, but there are actually workarounds. So things I've found that cause this is these 3 slots here covering the behind of the propeller bearing, right? Or going too far out. So what I have right here seems to be what I found to be the limit of amount of propeller symmetrical sails you could fit. And you're gonna want to like tinker and like turn it back on and see how far you can push it. Try to think outside the box. But what I really wanted to incorporate in this design was like that of an airplane fan, which is like just concealed. It's not like out in the open. And when it gets in motion, especially if you have high frame rate, dying it like so gives it a very like propeller like aesthetic, even though it's like just sails. And then yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. So you guys can comment if you guys want me to do a step-by-step tutorial on how I did it and my process, and every small little detail you need to know. And also tell me in the comments if you want me to create a design of this that is self-sufficient, although that might be very hard. Anyway, see you later, folks.